Hi Aries, welcome to your July reading. All right, your reading is called Back and Forth. So let's start with the astrology. Venus in Leo, Mars in Leo as of the 22nd of July. The Sun is in Leo. As of the 27th of July, Mercury is in Leo. So you have all this fire. And what does this fire want you to do? It wants you to rush ahead. It wants you to fall head over heels in love. You can't help but be super friendly. But be very careful, because the person that you meet right now may be a lesson. Venus, Mars, Uranus squares. They force us to confront that feeling of being lost, especially if we feel that we are lost when we are alone. These Mars, Venus, Uranus squares, first Mars, Uranus square, then Venus, Uranus square, they ask us what's better. To be with someone and be miserable? To be miserable if you are alone? What is the price for your happiness, and how much of it is dependent on your status? This Five of Pentacles is also you rushing ahead with all this fire energy and making a mistake and then feeling really bad because you can't take it back and you can't rectify it. It can be something, there can be such an impulsivity behind it that the situation becomes extreme. Come on. But don't worry. The Seven of Wands, you will be just fine. From the Five of Pentacles to the Seven of Wands. So that feeling of being alone is addressed in July. And when you leave the month, you are either not alone anymore or you have a new understanding of why you are alone. So it's important. The Five of Pentacles as the first card is also that moment where you know that something is over. So things start very quickly in July for you, and they also end very quickly. So just keeping that in mind, if you become very sure, no, this is my person and this is the person I want and I know that it's them. July is very wait and see. You can feel the feels, just don't make any major decisions based on those feels. It's like you're lucky and then you have the chance to have it blow up in your face, and then you're lucky and then there's that trick question again, and then you're lucky and then it becomes clear to you that things aren't the way you've been thinking they are, the way that you're seeing them. So this Five of Pentacles, Seven of Wands, this back and forth between winning and losing, that is so much of your month, but you leave July winning. And that is a wonderful thing. You leave July feeling like you've overcome everything that was standing in your way, especially your own ideas of what it needs to be right now. Your own ideas of examining, do you chastise yourself when you feel that you are not living up to society's rules, or where you're supposed to be on their timeline already? Are you free enough to not care that other people need that so much? Are you secure and intelligent enough to know that this is where you need to focus your energy, which is on independence? All themes that are elaborated upon in July, if you allow yourself to accumulate some wins. If you go back and forth, you make a good decision, and then a destructive one, or you save some money and then all of a sudden you splurge. If you get caught in that back and forth, it can really do a number on you. So being consistent, or just doing nothing at all, almost to the point of being stubborn. If all you can manage is to stay still, that is enough. As long as you can curb that need to push forward and be super impulsive. No matter how much you like someone, or no matter what you want, it does not suit you to go running after it. Anything that is supposed to be for you doesn't need to be chased. Replay that in your head over and over again as July commences. You also have this desire to make a good impression. You want people to see you a certain way. You have either a style in mind, or you have, this new look that you're thinking about, or a new environment in which to show off your looks. But something has got you wanting to appear your best. Okay? And it has a lot to do with attracting what you want. You want to look like what you want to attract. And it's very possible, especially if you have a water sign in your life, for your sprucing things up or finding direction, it really grabs their attention and their interest. You can also at this time replace a failing situation with a very productive one. So if you have been out of work or have had some trouble with your living arrangements, you happen upon something in July that is long-term and it is stable, and it's something that ultimately you can afford and not feel like you're living beyond your means. You get what you need in July. Now, if you're thinking about a job, if the 10 of Wands here is about a job, then after the 21st is a really good time for you to look for a job. There is no scenario here where you spending your resources gets you what you want. It's not the month to invest. It's not the month to try to get attention by using money. It's not the month to gamble. It's just not the month for any of that risky behavior. And ironically, it's the month where you'll want to do it the most. There are some opportunities coming back around. It started last month. They look way better than they did then. It's up to you if you want to take advantage of them or not. Venus moves into Virgo on the 21st, and you have that immediate change in energy where things get very practical and you understand why you shouldn't take any risks, and also it's kind of boring and you're wondering if things are going to get more exciting. Things actually get less exciting. The energy drops at the end of the month, and you feel the drain so deeply, especially you. You feel so exhausted. So there are things that you can do now at the beginning of July that can mitigate that drain you'll feel at the end of the month. So if you boost your metabolism at the beginning of the month, if you start eating healthy, if you start moving around more, if you incorporate moderation into how you eat, how you spend, so you will set yourself up in a way that when at the end of the month where you feel really sluggish and you feel like you just don't have any physical energy, at least your metabolism is up and working. When you have some unexpected expenses come in at the end of the month, you have this money that, it's just small monies that you're not, spending. Maybe you decide in July, I'm just not eating out anymore. Maybe you decide I'm not going to buy anything in July. I don't need any clothes. I don't need to, I'm going to eat at home. I'm not buying any articles of clothing in July. Whatever you decide, that little bit of a sacrifice is really going to lead you to these beautiful moments where you have the money for something that otherwise you would have been stressed about. And you will know in that moment it's because of your discipline. It's because you were so kind and so, what is the word? It's completely escaping me. So in tune with the needs of the future you. You took them into account. So you were considerate. That's the word I was looking for. So considerate of future you's issues, problems, needs. So it's very mature in that way. If you keep making forward progress and you don't do any of the things that will set you back 10 steps, by the end of the month, you really do feel that you are winning. You feel good about yourself. You feel good about what you're attracting. And you're really unbothered about the things that you don't have, which is a huge change. So without feeling like it, July is very spiritual for you. Love you. Hi, Aries. Welcome to the second part of your reading. I am on vacation with my family for July 4th, so excuse the setup for part 2. But here we are. If you hear the wilderness outside, maybe you can, maybe you can't. Just to give you a little background, so Aries, back and forth we go. That 5 of Pentacles there. If you've been in a rut or in a difficult place, when it comes to relationships especially, you feel like you finally have a leg up. 7 of Wands. Like you can win at this thing called love. And that confidence is brought to you by Venus in Leo, Mars in Leo. After the 22nd, the Sun in Leo. And then as of the 27th, Mercury in Leo as well. So for you, all of this translates into being so very attractive, 9 of Pentacles, that not only are you falling in love left and right, but people are falling in love with you at first sight. In fact, things may start very quickly. The 4 of Pentacles says, be careful, don't get too attached. Sometimes things that begin quickly can last a very long time if you don't match the quickness with intensity. If things are going to be quick, let them be quick. But let the other person lead that. Let them set the speed, because if you set the speed and you go right to ultimate intensity, it's going to be really hard for you to disconnect if it turns out not to be a good idea. So the 4 of Pentacles is a little bit of a warning there. Be careful. You're very attractive. You're in a space where you're ready. for something new or something more. You're primed. But it's so easy to misstep if you forget the Nine of Pentacles, if you forget you're the one that is the magnet, and instead you become the one that wants to hold on. Four of Pentacles. And the Nine of Pentacles you're attracting. In the Four of Pentacles, you're trying to hold on to something that seems like it's running away. I mean, he's even got his feet on the coins because he's so worried that they'll slip away. The Nine of Pentacles is someone that has so much, and I don't mean just in terms of money. She's not really keeping account. The money is sticking to her, right? So that Nine of Pentacles, Four of Pentacles says, hey, be careful of that switch that happens. And every Aries knows what I'm talking about. There is that awareness you have. Okay, everybody is feeling me. They want me. They're all over me. And somewhere down that road, boom, there's that switch. Usually, it's not when there's a million people wanting you. It's when that one person that you also want wants you back. And then you have a tendency, Nine of Pentacles now, not all of you, but most of us, let me be inclusive here because this is a human thing, not just an Aries thing. Most of us tend to lose our cool when something enters the mix that we really want. And the Four of Pentacles says, watch how you get when something you really want comes along. Because if you're really careful, you won't get hurt. If you jump right into something because of your libido, especially towards the second week of July, that can turn into something very painful because it won't last very long. So instead of going back and forth, right? Now, this is all exacerbated by the fact that you have these squares, Venus squaring Uranus, Mars squaring Uranus. Like, it's forcing these feelings of loneliness and impulsiveness and anything to get away from the loneliness, kind of, right? And it can make you accepting and open to things that are not good for you. It can make you see things, Ten of Pentacles, that aren't there, right? So we want to make a clear distinction between our love luck and our money luck. So we've talked about love now, and we'll talk about it more obviously in the extended. We'll talk about this Capricorn, we'll talk about the water sign. Now let's talk about money. That Ten of Pentacles is really important when it comes to the ideas you've been having, right? There are some pretty innovative ideas, pretty bold ideas that you've been thinking up recently. And if you're not too worried about getting attention, and instead you're more concerned with stacking your money, it's going to go really well. Not because you should invest right now, but because you have some really forward-thinking ideas that have to do with whatever space you work in. And it's a great time to vocalize them. It's a great time to say something. It can actually change the trajectory of your career, that little bit of honesty, and turn it into something a lot more long-term than you may find that it is now. After the 21st, it's also easier to communicate in terms of wanting a job. Now, the Ten of Wands and the Tower is also about the truth and the temper. The truth is, Ten of Wands, you have a wonderful work ethic and you're determined and loyal, smart, quick thinking. And then there's the temper. Now, both are valid, both exist. But in July, you run the risk of canceling one out with the other. So you make a perfect impression at the beginning of July, whether it's in the context of a relationship, a job. People are loving you. July starts off wonderful. And then as the month progresses and we have these tenuous squares and you start to feel this anxiety of sorts, then it's possible for you to ruin that reputation that you've built, ruin that impression that you've built by losing your temper. It's very easy to destroy a lot of forward progress. And I feel like I said this to you last month too, but your astrology speaks to it still in July, and so do your cards. And then we have the devil, so that Capricorn energy. There are some opportunities that you either thought were lost or were missed. And now you have a chance to actually do a lot more with them than you could have back then anyway. Not only do these opportunities look better than they used to, they are better. They fit your life better. The devil card is also about not taking any risks. It's about being very conservative with your money. But you don't have to pressure yourself into being conservative for too long, because as of the 21st, Venus moves into Virgo. And that's when your practical sense returns. Until then, I'm not focusing on it too much, but until then, you are very likely ruled by your libido. Okay, the Tower here also speaks to this astrological transit between the 2nd of July, tomorrow, and the 5th, where it's very easy to be involved in some minor accidents, accident prone, exhausting yourself, burning out. All of these things are possible in the next couple of days because you may not have been taking care of yourself as you should. You know, if you adopt a sense of moderation when it comes to work, when it comes to love, when it comes to this Four of Pentacles, need to hold on to something, when it comes to being carefree. See, between all of these modalities, there is a center that you can find. And that's what really July is about for you. It's about finding that center. Because if you can't find the center, then you vacillate back and forth all month. And it's really exhausting. And then you can see how the idea of a burnout becomes very real. Right? So, right now, your priority, starting today, is 1, to be very careful with yourself physically, especially the next 3 days. 2, be on the lookout for exhaustion, mental burnout, right? And do what you have to, starting now, to make sure that the end of the month is relatively painless. And 3, you really have to examine this possessiveness. I think July really brings that to the fore for you. How do you react when everyone is falling at your feet? And then how do you react when you, in turn, fall at somebody else's feet? What happens then? And why is there such a big difference? And what can you do to level that playing field once, both sides have agreed? Yeah, we have feelings for each other. Somewhere in here, in this reading, there is a war analogy that is missing me. But I think you get the point. I think you know exactly what I mean because you do have that strategic mind. So this is the time to examine if your strategies when it comes to being attractive or attracting something and being receptive and being able to receive the thing are aligned or not. And that's a much bigger question, I think, than any of the other things you face in July. How do you keep your cool once you also want? As long as everybody else wants, it's very easy. You're cool as can be. But how do you navigate when something's actually important to you? Can you do both? I guess we'll see you in July. I love you, love you. If you're interested in a personal reading, there's a Cameo link below. The first part of this reading, the Aries reading, was up on Patreon weeks ago. That Patreon link is below as well. If you are interested in a small size in this Empress ring, those are now available. If you are interested in the World ring, those are now available. There is a Quietus Revolution rings link below, as well as an Instagram link where you can check them out and check out RevFam wearing them. Also, last but not least, speaking of Instagram, if you are interested in a look at the daily transits of the day and how they apply to your specific signs, come on over to @thequietestrevolution on Insta and join the RevFam. All right. I'll see you in the extended right now. Love you.